I'm just starting and I don't want to spend a lot of money. Hey guys, this is Heidi and you're watching HeidiKMakeup. I was recently watching Beauty Talk with Sin, who is one of my favorite cruelty-free vloggers here on YouTube. I will link her video down below, and she did a video all about her cruelty-free starter kit. So for people who are just starting out, you've just transitioned to cruelty-free, or maybe you're new to makeup entirely but you've decided that you want all the products that you have in your life to be cruelty-free, kudos to you. And she was talking about some of her favorites and what she would recommend to do a full face of makeup just starting out. And I thought that was a really great idea. I kind of did something similar to this recently. I did the starting over tag, which should be linked down below. And in that video, I talked about all the products that I would buy if all my makeup disappeared. But in this video, I want to talk about what maybe you would like to buy if you were very first starting out. Because in the starting over tag, I talked about a lot of high-end things and things that are a little bit more pricey. In this video, I want to talk about much more affordable things because I think that when we're very first starting out with a starter kit, we don't want to spend a lot of money on our products. So everything in here is going to be affordable and drugstore. So I threw everything together in this Albertsons bag, my grocery bag, and we're going to start with primer. I don't currently have a primer at the moment. My skin is really dry, and so I found that I don't really need a primer in summertime. But the primer that I really like is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Primer. The next thing that you're going to need is foundation. Now I do have a video all about cruelty-free drugstore foundation that I will try to remember to link down below as well. But there are 3 different foundations that I'm going to talk about depending on your skin type. The first one is if you have oily skin. I would really recommend the Physicians Formula Youthful Wear. My skin is very dry and sometimes I find that this is a little patchy, but it's quite creamy. It's like quite a thick consistency, and I find that the finish, at least on my skin, is much more matte and it lasts pretty well. I heard Secondhand Sweetness say that this actually showed up much lighter on her skin, and she has more oily skin than I have, so this might not be quite as full coverage on you if you have oily skin, but it is very nice. It's a very nice finish, and I like it for days when I want like a full coverage, because on me it's full coverage. If you have more normal or combination skin, I would recommend any of these Flower All About Face foundations. They're just kind of a traditional foundation. They remind me of the Revlon Color Stays, but they're cruelty-free, and you can get Flower Beauty products at Walmart. They're my favorite drugstore brand. And then if you have really dry skin like me, I think that the best foundation that you're going to find in the drugstore is actually at Target, and it is the Sonia Kashuk Perfecting Luminous Foundation. That is beautiful. I've run out of it because I was using it so much, and right now I'm on Project Pan, so I don't have it in my collection at the moment, but I can't wait to buy it again. I just think it's really nice. If you have really dry skin, it gives you that kind of glowing look. For concealer, there are a couple of different concealers that I would recommend from the drugstore. The first one is going to be the Hard Candy Glamouflage Concealer, and that's great for any kind of coverage. It's just a very thick, full coverage kind of concealer. It's supposed to be a dupe for the Kat Von D one. Then the Pixie Correction Concentrate. It's a little bit pricier for drugstore, but you can get it at Target, so it's technically drugstore. And it has that kind of creamy peachy consistency, which is really nice for dark circles under the eye. I'm also out of that. For powder, you know, the only powder that I really use is just the e.l.f. Mattifying Translucent Powder. And I'm not so good at recommending powder, and that's because I do have very dry skin. I don't use this every day. I don't use powder every day, but it works fine. For those of you who have more oily skin or combination skin, tell us in the comments what cruelty-free powder you use, because it's not a problem that I have. So I don't really know. I don't have good recommendations for powder. But if you have dry skin, this works great just for setting everything but not looking too cakey. For blush, I want to talk about cream blush first. The one that I really love is by Flower Beauty, and it is this Primrose and Proper. It's this perfect kind of mauve-y blush. It's pretty pigmented, and I think it would work on most skin tones. You have to kind of use a light hand if you are pretty fair like I am. But with like a little e.l.f. stipple brush or something like that, this is excellent if you have dry skin. And I think it's kind of a universal color too. It goes with most looks. So they changed the packaging on these recently, but I believe they still have this color. For powder blush, I've got a couple of recommendations. The first one, which is probably my favorite, are these Milani baked blushes. This one is in Dulce Pink. I'm wearing it today. And this one is kind of more of a highlight. It's not quite as dark. I don't think it would work really well on deeper skin tones unless you use it kind of more like a highlight. But they have a ton of different shades in this range, and I absolutely love them. One of my favorite ones that they have is Berry Amour. That's not going to show up at all. I absolutely love them. And then I've also heard really good things about the Sonia Kashuk blushes, but I haven't personally tried them, so I can't speak to that. But I can tell you that I do love these Milani baked blushes. Another one that I like, which is pretty affordable, are the e.l.f. blushes, and this one is in Mellow Mauve, which is a really nice, kind of, again, universal color. You can wear it with just about any look. I've heard some people compare this to the Tarte Exposed, which is owned by a parent company that tests. These are not crazy pigmented though, so if you have a deeper skin tone, you might want to avoid it, but pretty affordable, and if you're pretty fair like me, you might like those. For highlight, there's a few that I've heard of. The one that I really like for a very subtle highlight, especially day to day, is the Wet n Wild Color Icon in, what are you? Reserve Your Cabana. Again, I'm sorry, most of my products are for people with fair skin because I have fair skin. The thing I like about it is it's not too incredibly shimmery. It's just very subtle. And I think they have a deeper skin tone one as well. I've also heard really good things about the hard candy one. I just haven't tried it. So there's a hard candy one that you can check out too, but this one is very affordable. I think it's less than $4. For bronzer, I am not a huge bronzer fan, so I like the e.l.f. ones because they're pretty cheap. This one came in a palette, but I have tried the ones that come in their little duos as well, and they're perfectly fine. I believe Wet n Wild makes one as well, but I haven't tried it. The only one I've really tried are these e.l.f. guys. And I've actually used up the ones in individual palettes that I have. But very good little powder bronzer. They have a cream bronzer as well. And I know that they just made the new bronzer palette and the new contour palette too, so that's something to look into too. The next thing that you're gonna need for your face is probably your eyes. The primer that I would recommend is the Wet n Wild Fergie Primer. I'm out of it at the moment, and I'm focusing on just one because I am on Project Pan, but when I'm done, I think I will buy that again. It's very affordable and very comparable to some of the higher end primers. For cream bases, I've got two that I want to recommend. The first one is again from e.l.f., and it is their Smudge Pots. These are supposed to be comparable to the Maybelline Color Tattoos, and very, very affordable. I got this one at Walmart. And then another one that I've just recently discovered that I'm really excited about are these Ulta Color Coats. And this one is an exact dupe for the Color Tattoo in Too Cool. And again, it's just that beautiful creamy consistency. Love, love, love these. Ulta brand is cruelty free, and they're not officially drugstore, but their prices are comparable to what you would see in the drugstore. For shadows themselves, there are a couple of things that I'd recommend. I actually like the e.l.f. ones, especially the ones in these palettes, especially if you're looking for a large variety. So you can get these pretty much year round, but especially during Christmas time, you get pretty good deals on this. This one I think was a limited edition one, but you get a huge variety of colors in there, and then you can do just any look you want with that. And the texture on them can sometimes be hit and miss, but they're pretty good. Let's just do this whole row. They're pretty good, you know, decent pigmentation for the price. They're very affordable. The other one that a lot of people love, and I'm wearing this right now, is Wet n Wild. Their Color Icon palettes. This one is probably their most popular one. It's in Comfort Zone, and I'm wearing it today. What I will say is that these are pretty pigmented. Bam, look at that. But they're very soft. So that makes them really easy to blend, which is nice, but it also makes them a little bit messy. So I personally am not as crazy about these as other people, but it's good if you're just starting out and you just want a variety for inexpensive. A lot of people absolutely adore these and swear by these. I think they're fine, but if you're just starting out, I think that they're good. For liner, I have a couple of favorite eyeliners. As far as eyeliner pencils go, the one that I love the most is by Hard Candy, and I'm out of it right now, and it is the Stay in Line liner. And that's because it's the only one that I can put in my waterline that does not transfer to my contacts, which I really like. But I am out of it right now. For liquid liner, my favorite liner is the Wet n Wild's Mega Liner, but I also really recommend the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Liner, which I am also out of if you are new to liquid liner, because it's a felt tip and it makes it a lot easier to use. And then I have a few different lip products to talk about, and I'm actually just talking about kind of the products, the brands, not necessarily these specific shades. I have 3 lipsticks that I really like. This first one is the Milani ones. This is like a tie for my favorite lipstick brand of all time. And this particular one is Natural Chic, which is a pretty neutral shade. They have this really nice watermelon scent to them. They're fabulous. Ginger Lily. This is my favorite lipstick shade ever, and this is by Flower Beauty. It's in the black tube, so it's the High Shine lipsticks. These are my favorite formula that they have. And there it is right there. This is beautiful if you have red hair. I've been wearing this a ton. I love this formula. An even more affordable one is the Wet n Wild Mega Blast. Okay, it wore off, but the ones in these tubes. I don't like the Mega Last ones, I think they're called, because they have kind of a matte finish, and I find that they are really drying on the lips, but these are nice. I'm not crazy about the packaging, but the formula is pretty nice. This one is within these Adobes, which is a really cool, unique shade that, again, I think looks really good if you have red hair. Kind of a like liquid lipstick. This is the LA Girl Lip Paint, Glazed Lip Paint, and this is the one I'm wearing today, and it is in the shade Blushing, and it's on my lips right now. And these are crazy pigmented. There's a lot of product in there, and you just squeeze the tiniest amount out. That's too much, way too much. So put like a little dot, and then I hope that looks okay. These are really affordable too, and they're supposed to be comparable to the OCC lip tars. I have not tried OCC lip tars, but I do like this. This is good stuff. So if you're not crazy about lipstick and like that kind of like liquid lipstick, this is a nice minty feel on the lips. And for gloss, my favorite gloss, again, is going to be Flower. And this one is Pretty in Petunia. These guys don't really taste like anything, but they're not overly sticky, which is why I like them. So that is my cruelty-free starter kit. Like if you are brand new to makeup and you want stuff that's really affordable, I think you could do a full face and have quite a bit of variety with all the products that I talked about there. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are your essentials that you would get just starting out with makeup if you wanted to do a full face? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, you can hit the subscribe button so the next time I do a video, you'll know about it. You can also see what my family is up to every day by subscribing to our daily channel, which is Sudden Kimpact, and you can see my parenting channel as well, which is HeidiKM TV. All that's going to be linked down below, along with a whole bunch of videos I talked about in this video. So check all that out. I'll have my cruelty-free Where to Start playlist and my cruelty-free resources videos linked down below if you are wanting to start out as well. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys. I have become a nail polish enthusiast over the last few years. For years, I worked at Starbucks and we weren't able to wear nail polish on our nails. And so when I stopped working there, the first thing I did was run out and paint my nails and buy myself a proper nail polish collection.